getting, hold on, I gotta shut this off. And scene. Hi, how are you? I didn't even notice you there. Hello, neighbor. That's right. We're all here. What's happening? Yeah, I figured, if you're gonna make use of your time, making sure your music setup is in order is not a bad idea in these harrowing times. Although I will say, some folks were saying that I was not taking this seriously enough, that I was mocking the president, and I was not viewing this circumstance we all find here ourselves in with the gravity of the situation. That I was injecting levity into the situation like a big jerk. And that's true. And I'm doing that because we all find ourselves in a relatively hopeless situation. There's not a lot we can do except not do stuff. So I have taken it upon myself to call BS on any word that comes out of the president's mouth because I have respect for the country, the presidency, and our form of government and our citizens, and I don't care. And secondly, for all of you that think I'm not taking this seriously, I've decided it's time for this channel to turn around. It's time for us all to handle this with the seriousness it requires. So from this point on, I will treat this with the depth and caring that it deserves. A man alone with some toilet paper. The only voice keeping people together so that they don't get all upset. Only we are the survivors. Oh, that really cut against it. We got a new viewer hosting my stream, and right at the last second, really, that little cute noise really cuts against my one man, 1,000 voices, teaching people to cough into their elbow. Also starring Gary Busey. Right on. Hey, I'm the only man that can save us all. Seriously, it's not like a meteor or anything. It's like a meteor full of sniffles. Gary Busey. Keanu Reeves. Whoa. Robin Williams, back from the grave. Oh, well, oh. Robert De Niro, because everybody does him. A little bit. And Donald John Trump. I give myself a 10. I think, the reviews have been very good. How you doing, guys? Oh boy! So we had another stress briefing, and the result was very similar. Stock market dropped another 10,000 points today. By the way, there are tons of rich people sitting on the sidelines, flush with cash, who are ready to buy in when it hits bottom, and they couldn't be happier about this shitstorm that is happening. They're not upset by the fact that the stock market is cratering. I think the floor is somewhere around 12,000. But that's if they, stop trading. That's what I think. Yeah, it's a stress briefing, Elizabeth. That's what they are. These are not press briefings anymore. They're just, I thought, you guys were just starting to calm down. So I thought I'd come out and take a big shit on your mood and freak you out. Like, that's what he's doing. So let's revisit, shall we? This was just a couple of hours ago. The president and his peepholes came out, and he did the same thing he did yesterday, which was make everybody stand out there. Make them go outside. We need fewer people. Wait, have Fauci go out. It's like make everybody do it's like a curtain call, and I'll come out last and bow. We'll all clasp hands. Well, you guys will. I'll stand there like this with my arms crossed, making Churchill face, and then you guys can bow behind me, to me. Really, really, that's what's happening to me. I am a wartime president now because I created. Look at this. Look how he makes them go out first. Like he doesn't know they're not headed out. It's not, the timing of it. It's friggin' embarrassing. Share the show, by the way, if you think anybody wants to see this. If you don't, tell people not to tune in. Give them the link and say, don't click this. Look at this nonsense. My favorite is the reporter over here standing right here going, well, I was going to do a report, but these jerkwads came out here and now I can't talk. Wait for it. Wait for it. Literally, he's just letting them stand out there like idiots. Like, how long after this does he come out? There he is. Hold on. There he comes. Lumber, lumber, lump. I hate giving bad news. Boo. Thank you for coming. I thought I'd just tell you all how magnificent, fantastic a job I'm doing. There's those who want to fillet me can form a double line on the left. I know you're all very impressed. We've got her back in the scarf. Apparently, space karate outfit scared the crap out of everybody.
Thank you very much. I would like to begin by announcing some important developments in our war against the Chinese virus.
Okay. So, for those of you who don't know, the virus having come out of China, the Chinese government started saying that, telling over their state media that U.S. soldiers brought the disease to China. He found out about that, and now he's shooting back against China by calling it the Chinese virus. Like, he's treating the Chinese like he treats the Democrats or press people, like fake news. He's calling it the Chinese virus simply to, like, as a dig against China as a country. The problem is China's a country, but Chinese is a country, are people from that country and an ethnicity. And most people can't tell the difference between different Asian people in the United States because they don't ask. They're afraid to ask, and they don't understand the differences between the languages when they hear them speaking. So they just kind of, Asian is one big wall, and it isn't. They're all very different. It's like not being able to tell a Hungarian or a Greek person from an Italian unless you go, where are you from? It's that kind of situation. It's not that different. But by tacking Chinese on it, it's just him being, yes, he is a racist, but this is him digging at the country like a playground bully. He doesn't care about the ramifications of this. He doesn't care that it will affect Chinese Americans. You understand? Like, this is just him going, the do-nothing Democrats, the Chinese vaccine. Like, that's where his brain stops.
We'll be invoking the Defense Production Act.
I'm going to do something I should have done 2 weeks ago, later today.
Just in case we need it.
Just in case. Hope we don't. Everyone is screaming that we will, that we're 3 weeks behind in building hospitals. The Russians only have 12 cases, and they're building 4 hospitals right now. And the Iranians are digging mass graves. You can see it from space. But hopefully we won't need it, even though we have 20 times the population of Iran.
In other words, I think you all know what it is.
No, most people don't. That's why you have to give a briefing. I know what it is. The news people know what it is, but they're the conduit to the American people. You're not talking to the press, you egomaniac.
It can do a lot of good things if we need it, and we will.
Do a good, I was going to sign stuff that did bad things, but Mike Pence jumped on me, which is not weird because he jumps on me all the time. It's weird. It's like having a dog. I never had a dog, but it's the closest thing.
We will have it all completed, signing it in just a little while, right after I'm finished with this conference. I'll be signing.
Why didn't you sign it right before? If it's important and it can do a bunch of things that you hope we don't need, but it's very important, why don't you walk out and say, sorry I kept you waiting, but I was just signing this later. You know why? Because he wants his little photo op of him signing it after this. And they didn't have cameras back there because they've separated the press in the 2 different rooms, and they have to come from here to the other room.
Signing it, it's prepared to go.
Ready to go. I'm just, you should, who wants to give me a neck rub to make me do it right now? I'll do it right now if you guys want.
So we will be invoking the Defense Production Act. Last week I signed an emergency declaration under the Stafford Act, which, as you know, we invoked previously.
We're invoking lots of things. I invoked the name of Nosferatu, and that didn't work out too well.
And which activated FEMA's National Response Coordination Center. FEMA now is fully engaged.
Before they were only half engaged. I don't know if you know this. When I came in, I told them only do tornadoes because I don't get hurricane votes.
At the highest levels. Today, FEMA is activated in every region. We are at level 1 being the highest level.
I told them, what's the highest level? Do that. Don't go over stages. I think the best thing we can do is tell everybody to stand down, and we won't need them until the very last second, and then tell everyone to race towards the front lines, bring everything. You know, like good government.
Which we will work with, and we've been working with FEMA. I've done a lot of work with FEMA. They're incredible. It's always been on
Fantastic job.
hurricanes or tornadoes.
If you don't know, in case you've never heard, I call them hurricanes. Some people call tornadoes hurricanes, but I call hurricanes tornadoes. Doesn't really matter. It's just a bunch of outhouses getting blown into the sky.
They're right now in Tennessee, a large
Yeah, he couldn't sign it because he had to get his hair done. They wouldn't let me wear my hat anymore.
group working in Tennessee have been incredible. That was a tragic event. Alabama last year, also a tornado, and then
He's bringing up the Sharpie gate. Man, I don't know if you know this, but last year, a hurricane wiped out all of Alabama. It had like 1,000, like a giant black one with a lid on it, and it was spinning and spinning.
then obviously the numerous hurricanes in different locations that were, in some cases,
Look at her looking at him like, dude, shut. Oh, thank you, Rob. Wow. Please keep your loved one safe. You know what I'm talking about, brother. We will be revealing something with Rob this weekend. I want to pace things out, Rob. We're gonna to make the Patreon people feel good. I'm working on it as a side project.
is very devastating.
P.S. We need to start working on a 3D modeled face coverage mask that you can take off, put in a container, is sanitized, and put back in, and just you peel out the gauze inside of it. So you can take a normal gauze pad and breathe through that, peel that off, throw it away, take the mask, put it in a thing. It gets hyper washed, and then you can put it back on. That you can wear, kind of like a Winter Soldier looking deal. You understand?
And
It's a design idea I have. I'm just saying. 3D yeah.
in every case, FEMA came through. This is a very different kind of.
FEMA's been great, you know. As you know, for the last 20 years, we've been telling a story about FEMA creating coffins for patriots and FEMA camps. That turned out to be only half true. Now the bad parts are good and the good parts are bad now that they're helping me.
Work for FEMA, but they will come through as they always do. We have tremendous people, tremendous talent in FEMA. We're
Americans are always better than those stupid Germans.
sending, upon request, the 2 hospital ships. They're being prepared right now.
They're being repaired right now. The hospital ships he's talking about were in dock getting serviced, and they're trying to speed up the servicing of them because it would kind of suck if your 2 hospital ships you're swooping in to save the day in the waters off of Manhattan sink on the way.
Massive.
I didn't really like we were gonna fix stuff first, and I was like, fix the ones that drop bombs on brown people first. Save the hospital ships. Who's gonna need that? That's never gonna happen. Who could see that coming?
Ships. They're the big white ships with the Red Cross on the sides.
Just in case you want. So don't shoot at them.
One is called the Mercy and the other is called the Comfort. And
I can't wait. I can't wait. What's he gonna say? I haven't watched this, so we're riding along on this together. The Mercy and the Comfort. Bring it, Trump. Let me hear it. Let me hear how you. All right.
they are in tip-top shape. They
No, they're not. They're currently being serviced.
soon will be. They're getting ready to come up to New York. I spoke with Governor Cuomo about it. He's excited about it.
He's very excited. He was like, ooh, Mercy and Comfort. giant white hospital ships. I never dreamed of the day that my city would need 2 giant naval vessels full of quarantine. I couldn't. Oh, I'm the happiest governor in the world, he said. I had him write it down. Here it is on paper.
And I also,
What a jackass. So excited about it.
we haven't made the final determination as to where it's going to go on the West Coast. The
Well, on the West Coast, they're not going on the West Coast. What we're gonna do? We're gonna send the hospital ships through the Panama Canal.
Comfort is located now in San Diego, and it's going to be, we'll be picking the destination fairly shortly.
It's not gonna be San Francisco, I'll tell you that. It's being serviced in San Diego. Probably send it to Mexico to help them build the wall.
So those 2 ships are being prepared to go, and they can be launched over the next week or so,
They have no idea. He has no idea what. I mean,
depending on need.
the need's already there. The need is already there. All this, the need for the hospitals, the Army Corps of Engineers stuff, that was needed a week ago.
Earlier this week, the first clinical trial of the vaccine candidate for the virus began in Washington State, as you probably know. The genetic sequence of the virus was first published in January,
By the Chinese.
but thanks to the unprecedented
By the Chinese.
partnership between the FDA, NIH, and the private sector, we've reached human trials for the vaccine just 8 weeks later. That's a record by many, many months.
The Chinese posted the entire genome of the virus months ago. Like that was the part that used to take a long time. All vaccines will happen at record rate comparatively because sequencing the genome was a near impossibility 10 years ago. Even at Ebola, it was, they've been in a rush to try and figure out strains.
It used to take years to do this, and
now, because it's the future, I don't know if you know this, but during the Kansas flu, which we call the Spanish flu. Some America haters are calling the Kansas flu. Chris Kobach stopped the Kansas flu from voting. They didn't have this kind of technology. Only since Trump has been in office have they had this technology.
and now we did it just in a very short while.
You didn't do it. It's not done. It could fail. You could give this to people and they could get worse. You could make people ill with this. You could ruin their immune system. There's all kinds of reasons why you have to do.
It's the fastest development in history.
It's amazing how in pandemics past, like the Dark Ages, they wish.
Of what we're doing with regard to the vaccine. We're making very, very big progress.
I'm sorry you guys tore me away. I had a beaker in my hand. That's why they come out before. I'm like, 1 second, I'm so close. Dustin Hoffman and I found the monkey, and I had to helicopter us back.
Today, I can announce further steps to expand testing capacity. We're working with several groups to determine if the self-swab, a much easier process than the current process that's not very
Oh, this is going to be good.
nice to do.
It's not nice when someone sticks it. By the way, he hasn't had the test. This is BS. Like, he doesn't, his explanation of it, like they told him yesterday, like, look, nobody believes you actually had a test. You have to talk about it like you had it happen because you were staring at Fauci when he described it like you'd never heard this before.
I can tell you because I did it.
Yeah.
But we have a
Yeah, it'd be instead of a stranger sticking a swab up your nose all the way back so you can cough all over it, you can do it yourself. So you can have dozens of people running into the emergency room with a giant Q-tip sticking out of their nose, blood pouring out the other nostril, going, I think I have the virus. I think it's a much better plan.
current process that's a little bit difficult. If you have it done, the groups are working on determining if a self-swab by an individual is as effective as the other. The other is very effective, very accurate. But we're going to see if we can do a self-swab, which is
where you swab yourself.
would be a lot more popular, I can tell you that.
I know it would get rave reviews. Like on Yelp, like boo, that was the worst service I've ever gotten at the drive-through swab center, whatever. I could do this shit myself.
So, and that would
I give myself 5 stars. I give the Walmart parking lot 1 star.
be administered also by a health official, but it would be a lot easier to do.
It's a lot easier to stick something up your own nose than to have someone else stick something up your nose, right, Mike?
The
Explain it, please. Tell me.
fact is that the health professionals would free up a lot. Let me just say, the self swab is what it is. It's a self swab. You do it yourself.
Oh, in case you didn't know what self-swabbing was, it involves a swab in yourself.
The other
Fucking hell, man. Shut up.
has to be issued by.
Don't come out. Just come out and go, here's the team. They're going to give you the update. I'm going back to work. We're on your side, America. Peace out. And then have them go brief individually so they're not all standing together. So they don't fall like dominoes once one person gets sick. If Fauci gets sick, we're done.
A health professional, and it's something that is quite difficult. And we think it's working out for the self swab. And if it would test positive, the people would go and they would do what they have to do. But we think that's probably.
Yes, because if you test positive for it, you would do what you have to do. Whereas if you test negative for it, you would do what you don't have to do, or don't do what you do have to do, or do on yourself.
Probably
What the
working
hell?
out. I've asked the FDA.
It's working out great. People are doing a fantastic job self-swabbing themselves. It's
To
disgusting.
cut through the red tape and reduce regulatory barriers. We are looking at some very exciting things, and I'm going to be holding a.
I'm super excited. Aren't you excited? But you know, America, like a month ago, did you think I'd be locked in my home, sticking a like a Q-tip up my nose to see if I'm gonna die because of lack of ventilators? No, people are excited. It's a new frontier.
Second news conference either today. We're going to talk
And fabulous. We're getting great reviews.
FDA. Some things are happening that are quite exciting.
What is with him? What is that? So I'm so exhausting, mob.
So we'll see what happens. But the FDA, my instructions is I've been working very, very hard on
Reading, thinking,
a
grasping.
number of developments, and we'll be discussing them with you later today or tomorrow.
I've been working so hard on a number of developments, like the signing of the Defense Authorization Act, where we're going to sign that right afterwards because it's super important and will help us in a dire need. I could have signed it before, but I want you to film me.
And this afternoon, I'll
What's a couple of hours in a pandemic, honestly?
be meeting with nurses on the front lines of the battle against the virus. They're truly American.
Well, nurses are on the front lines, so I'm taking a bunch of them off to have a discussion with them. Well, I mean, I'm going to make sure they're tested first. We got enough tests to test them. I'm not shaking hands with these disgusting people. They've been around sick people. Yeah.
Heroes. They want to get it done. They're incredible people.
Yeah, my mom's a nurse. She can't go out and help with this because they don't have enough masks or goggles for her to administer tests or help other people to take some of the load off. And she's older. If they had been ahead of this curve at all and taken this seriously a month ago, she might be able to be out and help, but she can't. She has to stay home.
So we're going to be meeting with nurses.
By the way, she lives in Kentucky, where everybody signed up for Kentucky Connect, the part of Obamacare that they run there. And they only signed up because they didn't know it was Obamacare because it was called Kentucky Connect.
And I actually look forward to that.
I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to meeting with the nurses who are going to be watching the sick and dying over the next little bit so I can high five myself. We're going to get a nice picture. I'm going to do that thing I do at hospitals where I give a thumbs up and that awkward smile while they are wearing aprons covered in blood. Oh, it's good.
Very brave. They're taking a lot of risk, and they have done an incredible job, and they never complain. Today, I'm also announcing.
Yeah, that's why the nurses unions always support Democrats, is because they never complain about the resources that they're getting from the Republican Party.
That the Department Department of Housing and Urban Development is providing immediate relief to renters and homeowners by suspending
Thank you, Democrats.
all foreclosures and evictions until the end of April. So we're working very closely
With Ben Carson, he would come out here, but the last time he spoke, everyone fell asleep.
Dr.
And we don't have enough smelling salts to go around.
Ben Carson and everybody from HUD.
So good. They're doing such a great job. I mean, they're just kicking back right now. They've done such a great job.
Every generation of Americans has been called to make shared sacrifices for the good of the nation. In World War II, young people in their teenage years volunteered to fight. They wanted to fight so badly because they love our country. Workers refused to go home and slept on factory floors to keep assembly lines running. And, you know, the numbers of ships that they built during World War II to this day has nothing like that has ever been equaled. They were doing ships literally on a daily basis. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And to this day, nobody's seen anything like that, what they were able to do during World War II.
Because they didn't have a choice? Because the world was at war? Because other countries are bombed to shit?
And now it's our time. We must sacrifice together because we are all in this together and we'll come through together.
We're going to make it. Don't worry. That's why I spend an extra half hour doing my hair before I come out for these briefings, and why I sign bills after I've done these, where I come out and give myself a 10.
It's the invisible enemy. That's always the toughest.
That's the toughest kind of enemy, because you can't punch it. The invisible enemies are the worst. I like ones that are darker than me, because they're easier to see. Except at night, I haven't figured that part out. Mike's like, have you ever seen Mike approach you when the sun's at his back? You can't even see him.
Enemy, the invisible enemy, but we're going to defeat the invisible enemy. I think we're going to.
And why by invisible enemy, I mean fourth stage syphilis. You would not believe the stuff they found in my blood test. Incredible.
Do it even faster than we thought, and it will be a complete victory. It'll be a
total victory. All you dead people, it's not our fault you lost the battle.
Victory.
Yeah, hi, chat room. I'm just I have to do this or I will go insane. So thanks for hanging in there. We'll play a little bit afterwards. This one, mercifully, is not as long. I'm also going to skip the stuff that the other people say because they're basically saying the same thing every day. Mike Pence is going to talk about M5 masks from construction sites, and the other lady's going to talk about how everybody needs to social distance while standing 2 feet from a guy who pretends he took the test.
So we'll have a second conference, again, having to do with the FDA and this. I think it's going to be potentially a very exciting news conference.
It's going to be, folks, you know what I mean? Save your applause. Kill it, because the next, you think this press conference is sweet. Wait till the next one. It's going to smoke, seriously. We got flame pots, Nickelback. It's going to be sweet.
And
people are lining up or whatever. We have to socially distance. But this is basically, you're all in, everyone's watching this to hopefully not die. But this is basically one big Trump rally now.
We'll do it as quickly as we can. So whether it's
just like, you know, when I'm with a porn star.
Today or tomorrow. And I'll, with that, ask Mike Pence to say a few words. And
about how good I'm doing and how everything is coming at my directive, especially the stuff that the governors are screaming at us to do that we've decided to start doing maybe next week.
Thank you very much.
It's amazing how, Mike, go tell him, Mike. Thank you, Mr. President. And can we all just, I mean, look at his hair today. It is, every day I think, how is he going to make sure his hair is that good? And he manages to do it. It looks like the fender on a 57 Cadillac. That is just a gorgeous, sweeping, it's like his head is a comma.
Thank you, Mr. President. The White House Coronavirus Task Force met this morning, and now that we have cases in all 50 states.
Don't say that, Mike. The West Virginia one is fake news. That's just some dead coal miner. They die of lung stuff all the time. Shh.
We're continuing to move out on the president's call to bring the full resources of the federal government.
Yes, if it wasn't for the president calling for this, no one would do it. No one would be calling for the federal government to bring all of its efforts to bear if the president hadn't done this. we were all running around like chickens with our heads cut off, saying, how much less can we do? And the president woke up from his Coke nap and said, guys, I got a great idea. Let's go to level 1.
A full partnership with every
With the private industry, Big Pharma, Halliburton. Where have you heard this before?
state and territory, the full power of the American economy to support businesses and families. As the president says,
Look, I've been out here sooner, but we had to fold my neck waddle. I'm thinking of stapling it for the rest of the run so that I don't have to reset it every day. I mean, look at that. He's got plumber's crack on his neck again. He's putting on weight because he's stress eating or self-swabbing.
to us and
I'm self-swabbing every minute right now. Holy smokes, I gotta go get could somebody bring me a Q-tip?
Every day. We'll do whatever it takes. We're all in this together. Yesterday, the president met with the tourism industry executive.
You know, I've been talking to the Army Corps of Engineers. Maybe we might need some hospitals built. I don't know. We're dealing with them. I'm dealing with those people. We'll see. We might need them. We hope we don't need them, but we probably will. But yesterday I met with the tourist industry.
And also had an engaging discussion with all the top companies in our industrial and medical supply chain.
Wonderful.
The
Yes.
president, as you all are aware,
We're all busy, and we told them to stop working because the president wants to talk to them for a second. They all sounded like they had the phone under their chin and they were rushing around like a scene out of Mr. Mom. But the president wanted to talk to him anyways. He insisted on shaking the hands of everyone involved in medical supply. In retrospect, a couple of weeks from now, that might be a mistake, but I would never pass up on the president's handshake. I mean, if you got to die of something.
also announced today that by mutual consent, the northern border to Canada will be closed to non-essential travel. This does not include essential travel or the transit of goods, but it was through mutual discussion that took place this morning between the
We all sat around and talked with Trudeau about this, and he was going to shut the border. So he called to tell us, and we said, no, you can't fire me. I quit. So we decided we would announce this together, but we had also decided to do that through paperwork instead of letting Trump do it because he would make it sound like we were shooting down airplanes.
The President and Prime Minister Trudeau and the Department of Homeland Security will be effectuating that decision. The President spoke with some of the nation's top business leaders today, again, to speak about the supply chain in the country.
Food. I have not golfed once.
For our part, we're going to be conducting.
He just farted on the people behind him. That happens every time he breaks wind all over the VA secretary.
A conference call later today.
Who, by the way, is doing a genuinely good job and is a serious individual, and I feel for the dude.
With state and local health officials.
Because he may have been a crony, dude thrown just into the job by Trump as an ass-kissing gesture, but he's found himself in the front of this, and he is shocked by what he's seeing. And you can tell how the VA is marshaling around this. He speaks, I saw a chunk of his on the news earlier, and the dude's like horrified.
To renew our ongoing commitment of cooperation and collaboration. As the president,
we're creating a business. Under the president's direction, we are bringing in the force of the Department of Defense and our partnerships with businesses like Wendy's. Play, you stupid thing.
Said last week in signing the Stafford Act, he stood up the National Response Corps.
He didn't sign the Stafford Act. The Stafford Act existed. He implemented it. He didn't sign the Stafford Act. The president, most people don't know this, but I signed the Constitution last week. I was like, what? I saw it. I went over there, had my Sharpie because I was worried about Alabama, and I was walking through the Capitol. Nobody there is sweet. And they had the original Constitution there. I said, open this. And they said, we can, Mr. President. I said, open it right now or you're fired. And they opened it. I signed it. And then it evaporated from sunlight and air.
Coordination Center. And today at the president's direction, FEMA has gone to level 1.
Mm.
FEMA's mission is to support disasters that are locally executed, state managed, and federally supported. And
Wait a minute, then why are they stopping China virus? Why should we? Is there a Chinese Emergency Management Association? We can make them pick up the tab. I think Mar-a-Lago has some busted pipes.
tomorrow, the president will be hosting all the nation's governors from a video conference at FEMA to ensure that they have a full connection to all of the activated regions for FEMA.
I think it's very important that everyone be downwind from the president at least once during this.
Going.
I mean, no one, not most people will be as happy about it as I am, but
Forward. With regard to testing, I'm pleased to report that we're increasing the number of tests being performed by the thousands every day, thanks to the public-private partnership that President Trump forged with commercial laboratories around the country.
yeah, if I hadn't asked them, they'd have gone, "You're on your own, suckers." What?
Our health
These people normally hate you, but because I talk to them, they're going to let you do stuff. And I do not.
experts tell us to remind every American, it's important to remember, people without symptoms should not get tested. We want to make sure that the supply
You just farted on the VA secretary again.
of testing is there for those that need it most or are symptomatic or in the vulnerable population. Dr. Deborah Birx in a moment will address the progress that we're making on testing.
In a wonderful outfit she got at Dollar Tree. Most people don't know that you can get at Dollar Tree. It's
The
fabulous.
infection rate, our recommendations to every America, as well as some important new findings about the impact on youth that we're gaining from data that's coming in from Europe that'll be important to every American.
You're going to want to stay tuned for that. We, excuse me if I might, Mike. You guys stay tuned. We're going to have a commercial break. After this message from Wendy's and Dow Chemical, we'll be back with a piece of information you might want to know. 5 minutes later, you're going to die. Aren't you glad you saw the ads first?
On the subject of supplies, the president has our task force extremely focused, as the president mentioned that he's invoking the Defense Production Act today. Secretary Esper, in a few moments, will describe the ongoing efforts.
I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry about that.
That the Department of Defense is taking to make medical resources available. Secretary Robert Wilkie will announce decisions the VA has made to expand hospital capacity within their system.
If they haven't made the decision, they're going to have to. It's very nice of the VA to actually start making some hospitals for injured vets. They've decided to start helping amputees and people with traumatic brain injury. Isn't that nice?
Also, with regard to medical personnel, at the president's direction, HHS is issuing a regulation today.
See what I did? I'm doing my big boy waddle. I did it. It was somebody else's idea, but I get to have it.
That will allow all doctors and medical professionals to practice across state lines to meet the
I'm doing my mommy waddle.
needs of hospitals that may arise in adjoining areas. In addition to that, we are again today asking every American and our medical community leaders and hospitals to partner with us in delaying elective procedures across the country in our healthcare system to ensure that medical.
Which, for the record, by the way, I just want to make sure, excuse me, Mike, does not include boob jobs. Those are not elective. That is mandatory. Those are a morale booster and are super necessary. So if you have those on the books, make sure they get done. You got to break those suckers in, and we don't want sadness in America, okay? Boob jobs are not elective.
Supplies and medical capacity go where they're needed most. Seema Verma will describe guidance.
I met Seema Verma last year. She was the Hungarian who won. She's Spanish. I don't know. They all kind of look alike. Who won Miss Universe? Walked in on her while she was in the John. It was fabulous.
That CMS will be issuing on that front. And finally, I want to remind every American.
Yeah, exactly, Rob Glenn. Like they are a week behind all the hospitals this is already happening. These press conferences are about them taking credit for stuff that people are already doing. That's all. How if I die of laughter, I'm grateful to you for not letting the virus get me. Yes, it's if you have a way to go, it's better.
American.
That's right. Stephanie Miller just got her Christmas nap in under the wire. Absolutely justifiable. Well spotted.
The president's 15.
If you haven't seen, the president made a wonderful graphic. Have you seen his graphic? Look at that. That's thank you, Lisa. Bless you, mi amor. Like, have you seen? We made a printout. President is I don't know if you know this, but not only a great leader and looks fantastic in a Speedo, but also a whiz at InDesign.
15-day guidance to slow the spread. We are grateful for members of the media and the general public that are adhering to these, sharing them with neighbors and friends.
Because without these printed by the president, you would all be dead by now.
All of our experts continue to believe that if every American will do their part and embrace and put into practice these principles, that we can.
Principles of the president. Call them presidential principles. Look at that. In a year, we've gone from presidential harassment to presidential principles. You're welcome, America.
And significantly limit the reach of the
Mike, I thought you might appreciate, like, there's some old schoolers in there who are going to appreciate the InDesign reference. That was
coronavirus in the weeks and months ahead. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Good job, Mike. You forgot to mention how wonderful I am, but it will forgive you. You're only getting one spanking today, not two.
Dr. Brooks, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Vice.
Hi, I want to thank all the millennials and they were all dead, and the one I wanted to talk to. Great. Okay, who cares about dead people? Let's talk about money.
Mark, please.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. President. So good afternoon, everyone, and I want to provide an update on DoD's coronavirus efforts
DoD
as we
guys.
continue to focus.
Everybody's like, you know how refreshing it is to have somebody come up there and actually just speak officially? I mean, it's weird. I don't necessarily think he's doing a better or worse job than almost anybody who's ever held that post, but I'm damn sure that everybody feels a little better when somebody just walks up there and goes, "This is what we're doing, okay? I'm not going to be flowery about this. This is how it happens." Like, that's 100% better than I think we're doing.
On our three priorities. That's, first of all, protecting our personnel and their families. Second, safeguarding our national security mission capabilities. And third, of course, supporting the administration's whole of government approach. First of all, though, I do want to
Don't say whole of government. It makes Mike get all excited. Oh, whole of government.
assure
Mother.
the American people that the United States military remains ready and capable of defending the country and our interests abroad. Now, with that, the Department is leaning forward in our response to COVID-19. We have issued international and domestic travel restrictions to all DoD personnel and families.
As you do. This guy's totally professional and stuff. And then he's followed immediately by sycophant number 3.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to thank you for peeing the cure into a cup and making me drink it earlier.
So yesterday, the president made a very
I think we all still have the taste in our mouth. I don't know why Mike was the only one smiling, but I feel healthier. Now that, can I not read that anymore? He makes us read these things. Please help me. I didn't drink pee. I poured it behind his desk. He didn't even notice the smell.
important announcement about telehealth, and this is allowing our 62 million seniors to be able to get some medical services from the safety of their home, reducing their risk and without any copays.
And it's great because if they have the disease, they can stay home and die from it. And they won't be filmed for weeks after this, till the smell bothers the neighbors. And this is technology that wasn't even available because time.
Community to join us in this effort. Thank you.
I don't know if you're getting in the bunker because I'm flying all the winners of Miss Teen 2012 over, and they've all taken up your cryo chamber. I'm sorry.
Thank you very
Hey,
much.
Kathy.
Robert, please.
This
Thank you,
dude's
Mr.
totally
President.
doing his job.
My instructions from the
No comment. He and the DOD guy are rock solid. And then you follow that up with,
please.
Let's take some questions. This is where it gets good. This is where the stock market takes another deep dive. This is the part where if they'd have just gone home, the stock market would have been rocky, no question. But this is where he just walks up and everybody on the stock market goes, nah, and throws a bunch of paper in the air. The minute he goes, can I take some questions? They don't have any answers. They're telling you everything they know. They will tell you more later. You can talk to the individual people. We'll make individual members of the team available to everybody to deal with those particular questions in smaller briefings after this. This is the team briefing. Then we'll do it like that's how you do it as an adult. They're not doing that though. They're just going, all right, bye, suckers. We'll have a second one of these if the ratings are good.
Thank you. Two questions, if I may. Your Treasury Secretary was on Capitol Hill talking about the potential for what could come, and he said that unemployment could skyrocket to 20%. Are we?
I don't believe that. That's why Steve's not standing up here today. First of all, he looks weird, and we watched the video back yesterday, and because I was making everyone clap at what I said, and I kept noticing that Steve was standing there looking like his neck was about to break.
Looking that could rival the Great Depression. Are we looking at potentially
No,
historic
well, I don't agree with that.
devastation?
No, I don't think that that's true. Whatever. Bad news, I don't believe. Exaggerated good news is clearly true.
Yeah, no, I don't agree. That's a absolute total worst case scenario. But no, we don't look at that at all.
And thank you. And my second question.
We're nowhere near it.
Okay, why do
We're nowhere near it currently.
you keep calling this the Chinese virus? There are reports of
Because it's China. Because they call it they said service members came over, and I was like, I'm rubber ball, you're glue, and then I hung up.
dozens of incidents of bias against Chinese Americans in this country.
Yeah, but are they really? I mean, if they're Chinese, are they really Americans? Let's be honest. Thank you, Mike.
Your own
Thank you so much. 999 for the build a doghouse for every member of the
Secretary Azar
administration.
says he does not use this term. He says ethnicity does not cause the virus. Why do
Does though, kinda, doesn't it? I mean, honestly. I mean, I haven't seen anybody that's not Chinese get it. I mean, I don't look. You have me there.
you keep using this? A
'Cause
lot
it
of people
comes
say
from
it's
China?
racist.
Because it comes from China. China virus. Just like the Spanish flu came from Spaniard.
It's not right.
Columbus brought it over, but he dropped it off in Mexico, and then he was well before he came here.
Racist at all. No, not at all. It comes from China.
China.
That's why. It comes from China. I want to be accurate. Yeah, please, John, please.
I don't care about Chinese Americans. I just want them to get points against these guys. You don't understand. They said something bad about me. Okay? What do you think I am, a grown-up?
Behind you, are you
I
comfortable
have
with this term?
I have great love for all of the people from our country, but
From our country. Not from that country who came to our country. Get me?
as you know, China tried to say at one point, maybe they stopped now, that it was caused by American soldiers. That can't happen. It's not going to happen. Not as long as I'm president. It comes from China. John?
I have to, they said it was coming from soldiers, so the only way I could rebut that was to make a racist ass out of myself so that any moral high ground we had in this circumstance is completely flushed down the shitter.
Two questions, if I could, Mr. President. First of all, the Defense Procurement Act, you're invoking it today. Senator Schumer
Yes.
said.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see about that. If we need it, I don't know. I could have signed it this morning, but take that, Azar.
On the floor a short time ago that it urgently needs to be put into action to produce
Yeah. It might be, they said urgent, but what is urgent, really? I mean,
medical supplies,
hairdo. You think my skin is this color normally?
particularly
Look how pink my eyes are compared to how white they normally are.
ventilators. Do you have some targets that you would like to see immediately spooled up under the
We
act?
do have. We have tremendous numbers of ventilators, but there's never been an instance like this where no matter what you have, it's not enough.
We have never had tremendous numbers of ventilators in the history of, like, first of all, ventilators like those have really only come online since the 90s. This, like, We know we don't have enough for a respiratory illness. There's no way to stockpile them. Jesus. Oh, thank you, Femi. I appreciate that. Appreciate you guys super chatting today. I hope you guys are having at least a bit of a laugh in the middle of this madness. That's all I'm trying to bring you guys. If you want to support, you can go to Patreon, like price of a cup of coffee. I'm doing this every day, whether anybody pays for it or not. I feel like we need something. So here I am. Thank you.
That would be the case.
We've got so many, we have tremendous amount of ventilators. I've got 15 of them in my office right now. Should I start the bidding at $50,000? Who wants it? Who's got a rich grandparent they don't want to die? Huh? Okay, 50-50. Do I hear 55? Do I hear 60? 65. Mike's going to do the rest of it. I'm just going to sit in the back and count the money.
We will be, it's being signed. It's essentially.
It's basically as good as signed. Do you really have to sign anything for crap to happen in government? Nobody needs. I mean, that's what. Look, have you watched me sign these things and hold them up and say that you know that doesn't mean anything, right? It happens whether I do that or not.
Drawn, and I'm going to sign it in just a little while.
The deep state are dicks until I need them.
If we need to use it, we'll be using it.
Well, I'll sign it. We don't need it, or whatever. We should have started building 2 weeks ago. Some people say that, but I don't say that. Other people say that. I don't think that's true. That's sort of a worst case scenario that we'll actually need the things I'm signing today if I decide to.
At full speed ahead.
We're going to be full speed ahead. That's what I said. All hands on deck. Level 1. Full speed ahead. That's why I'm signing it sometime later today, maybe, possibly tomorrow. We'll tell you if we're having another briefing.
It's urgently needed to be used. Do you have some
Well,
targets?
we're going to know whether or not urgent, but we will.
We don't know if it's urgent. Really, you think about it. I mean, who's really dying right now? Do we need those people?
Yeah, we do have targets. We have targets for certain.
I've got lots of targets. I spoke to the guy from Target just 2 days ago. Shook his hand.
Pieces of equipment. We have targets for masks. The masks, the numbers of masks are incredible.
We're going to be selling masks at Target parking lots. Basically, bring your prettiest daughter and you'll get to the front of the line.
We've ordered millions of them.
Basically, it's a prima nocta kind of a deal. # prima nocta.
But we need millions more. A thing like this has never been requested, and we've never had.
Nobody ever expected this except for the Office of Pandemic Response that I got rid of 2 years ago.
Even think in terms of these numbers, but we need millions of masks, and all of that will be ordered. We need respirators. We need ventilators is a big thing because it's a complex piece of equipment. So we have a lot of ventilators, but we're going to be ordering more.
And the second question, what size will the checks be that will be sent out to Americans?
I don't want to say that because I want to build up. Basically, it's like the part of the show where you get a rose and you don't get a rose. You ever watch those shows? They build tension. I'll let you guys know exactly what the checks will be, but we want to do a music swell and cut to the face of thousands of Americans going, oh, right before we go to commercial. And now a word from Wendy's.
To be determined. We're working with the Senate right
Stay tuned.
now. We're working with everybody on Capitol Hill. There's been tremendous.
Working with Capitol Hill. We're working with McDonald's. We're working with
There really has been. I mean, with some exceptions, obviously,
fantastic job.
because it's always the way it is. But there has.
Things are going the way they were going, but they didn't always work that way before. But now they're working in a way they've never worked before. But now they're working so much better now that they weren't. They could be a lot worse. And we want it to be. We're working very hard to make sure it goes the good way, not the bad way. But if it goes the bad way, which I don't think it will, we'll go the good way after that.
They've been getting along very well, Republicans and Democrats. It's a nice thing, very bipartisan so far.
It's amazing how mass death has the potential to bring people together. It's like I've never watched a disaster movie.
More than $1,000?
Well, we're going to see. I don't want to get into that right now, John. We are looking at different numbers. We're looking at time.
Big numbers and small numbers and medium numbers. I want to go big. They say go big. Big is going good, but not small.
That would be different. Splitting the time, splitting the payments. We're looking at a lot of different things. Hasn't been determined yet, but it will shortly be determined. And people want to go big as opposed. Everybody seems to want to go big, and they want to get to the recovery. The big day is the big thing we can do is get rid of this horrible, I call it the unseen enemy. You call it, there's 1,000 different terms for it, but what it
It's COVID-19. Just say that, you gibbon.
it snuck up on us, and it did
No, it didn't. You were literally, they ran a strategy game with you when you came into office and you napped through it.
128 countries. I think it's in something like that, very close to that. Think of that. So it spreads violently. It's a very contagious, very, very contagious virus.
Is it? Is it? Is it contagious? Is it very, very contagious?
Do you consider America to be on a wartime footing?
I call it the invisible. Some people call it the unseen. I don't know. We're workshopping names for the movie. You know, and it's I've already bought the URLs unseenthemovie.com and invisiblenemy.com and .gov because I plan on being in office after everybody dies.
In terms of fighting this virus?
I do. I actually do. I'm looking at it that way because, you know, if it got out of control, the big thing we did was a very early stoppage of people coming in who could be very, very heavily infected.
We stopped everybody from coming from a place they couldn't leave.
That was a
The Chinese stopped them from leaving, so we thought we should probably stop them from coming.
very good move.
That sounded weird.
And it was very early, very, very early. When
We're way earlier than most of the public was aware of this, because it's weird how governments pay attention to things and have this. It's right about the time the CDC was calling me every 30 minutes. I was like, it's a little early. People were saying we shouldn't do it, meaning Stephen Miller, because he wants more people to die.
most people, including a lot of professionals, they didn't want us to do it. That really saved a lot of
A lot of professionals didn't want to do it. Wendy's, the guy, you know, the guy at Chipotle was like, screw him.
lives. And yeah, I look at it, I view it as in a sense, a wartime president. I mean, that's what we're fighting.
That's what I am. I'm a wartime president. And you don't want to change horses midstream, folks. That's the narrative we're going to start building. That's what I've been talking about with Pence. You guys talk about it like these are all my ideas. Say president's directive about everything that we're stealing from the states and organizations and schools and the CDC. It's all Trump's idea. And if you vote me out in November, you're all going to die.
I mean, it's
That's if I don't have a cough and I have to stay at Mar-a-Lago until the last ventilator is pulled out of my grubby hands.
it's a very tough situation.
Oh, thank
You have to do things. You have to close parts of an economy that 6 weeks ago were the best they've ever been. We had the best economy we've ever had.
Fantastic. Nobody knew this whole thing was a house of cards we'd been building, and even we had deregulated so much that nobody had 6 weeks worth of funds to keep their businesses open. And now literally the taxpayers will be on the hook for keeping every single industry alive. Except Wendy's, but we're still going to give them a check.
And then one day you have to close it down in order to defeat this enemy.
Some people call it the invisible enemy. I call it the unseen enemy. I call it the I've got my eyes closed enemy. I call it the what enemy?
And but we're doing it, and we're doing it well. And I'll tell you, the American people have been incredible.
They're doing a fantastic job of staying at home.
For the most part, they've been really incredible.
For the most part. The ones at Fort Lauderdale Beach, I mean, granted, only the weak ones will die and the pretty ones will survive. Pence and I are going down there for our own personal Hunger Games next week in Fort Lauderdale. It's going to be sweet. You guys won't notice because the networks will be off the air. I'm shutting them on Monday.
Incredible.
Did I say that out loud?
Yeah, please, Caitlin.
For you, and then I have one for Secretary Wilkie as well, but I'll start with you. You just said there are a tremendous number of ventilators that we have, but for weeks, hospitals
By tremendous, I mean far too
have
few.
been warning about a critical shortage that they say we are not prepared for. So why did it take so long to invoke
Look at that. Look at his face. Not my fault.
the defense production?
Well, you know,
Act?
hospitals are supposed to have ventilators too.
The stupid hospitals. I blame hospitals for not being ready for a pandemic I let steamroll the country. That's what it is. I mean, aren't you supposed to be able to go to the hospital when you're sick? It's not my fault, stupid hospitals.
And when we have thousands of ventilators, it sounds like a lot, But this is a very unforeseen thing. Nobody ever thought of these numbers. Nobody ever saw numbers like this. Even with regard to testing, normally we wouldn't be doing testing, and they decided to do it.
Who tests stuff? Usually the hospitals test stuff. Last week, I was shoveling money through shell corporations to companies I own stock in, and this week I'm out here every day during executive time with this crap.
Very, very hard to ramp up. Now we're getting highly sophisticated tests, and it's going very well, but nobody's ever heard
Super
of
good.
testing in the kind of quantities that you're talking about.
But we knew for
But-
weeks we needed more ventilators, so why did it take so
Well,
long?
we knew, it depends. It depends
Who
on how it
cares?
goes. Worst case, absolutely. Best case, not at all. So we're gonna have to see where it goes, but we are ordering thousands and thousands of ventilators.
Thousands
And
and
they're
thousands.
complex.
So that's
These
like
are
two
complex machines, and we're
thousand.
ordering them. Does anybody have Mike, maybe you do?
Mike, can you answer this so that I can blame you when this fails? Because I'm not going to be the one who says we don't have enough. That's your line. Line,
How many do we have?
Yeah, you said
And
you
we're
could provide
ordering,
us with the
please,
number.
yeah, please.
please blame Mike.
You
That's why I put him in charge of this shit in the
know
beginning.
the number?
We have a specific number.
We have a specific number of right now, and we're going to get a specific number later, and there'll be a specific number coming. But we don't have that specific number that we can give you. If you need a specific number, we'll give you that later.
Ventilators in the stockpile. It's in excess of,
No, Special K, I'm not working on a new act. I'm just dealing with the threat of the morale crash.
10,000, and you just heard the announcement.
We've got 10,000. We have 16,000. And we've got 10,000 that we're going to get from the military that we would normally save for our soldiers who are wounded or who have physical maladies that will eventually leave their respirators. You know how we borrowed money from the DOD to help build the wall? It's the same thing. But we're doing this from the VA. We're taking respirators from the VA because we didn't think ahead. And 6 weeks ago, when we realized we had to close the border and we noticed that Italy was having the problem, we didn't think to start ordering respirators in mass. So, yeah.
Announcement from the Department of Defense, they'll be adding several more thousand to that. But the President, even this morning and yesterday,
The President has been doing such a great job. I mean, I feel so much better just smelling him. Oh.
afternoon, speaking with the largest
Group of eating a fistful of Wendy's fries and having a Frosty and going, I'm glad we're clearing this up. You should have seen it.
companies in the supply chain in this country. We're hearing a tremendous spirit among industry leaders.
These guys, we would have thought they would have said, nah, let's just let Americans die. But apparently, that would put a dent in their customer base in the long term. Who thinks that way?
Leaders who are ready to step in and add to that volume. The stockpiles don't count all of the ventilators that exist
Stockpile, don't say stockpile.
today in the marketplace and in healthcare facilities around the country. But the President's given us a directive to make sure that our stockpile, but just as importantly, working with industry leaders, that we're securing the increase in ventilators, the increase in masks, gloves.
Normally, someone would tell us to do the exact opposite. But the President himself has given a directive to all of us that we need more of the thing we're short of. And only the President has that kind of vision and understanding. I don't think the rest of you understand that. I mean, at one point, I don't know if you've ever been on a long car trip and the gas, what's it called, the thingy meter, has that little red area. And the President and I were on one of our weekend trips together where he lets me hold his hand as long as I tell him the stories about how awesome he is. And it was on red, and it had been because I was not even looking at the road. And he leaned over and he said, Mike, you might want to A, keep your eye on the road, and B, we need gas. And I want to stop for a Slim Jim and a pee. And had he not said that, we would have been alone on the side of the road, which is my idea of heaven.
Eye protective care, garments that are all necessary to lean forward. And we're confident we'll be able to
We're confident because of the President's directive.
accomplish that with the incredible cooperation.
Private and public and public and private. And the public is at home rubbing their privates and,
Of the
mother.
supply chain that exists in America today.
But we don't have an exact number for nationwide, how many ventilators we have?
We can give you that exact number.
We'll give you the number, but we don't want to give it to you here because you'll film it.
We'll give it to
Okay,
you.
that's what
But we're ordering,
We're ordering more, but we don't have enough, but we're going to get more, but we're not going to tell you a number because that number, no matter if we were working full time trying to build like they built ships in World War II, we'd never have near enough, but we don't want to tell you that.
we're ordering a lot more.
Okay, sorry.
A lot. Just put a lot. L-A-H-T.
Yeah, go ahead in the back, please.
Question for the VA secretary? I have one question for
Yeah,
the
one
first
second,
secretary.
1 second, Caitlin, we'll do it in a second.
Okay.
You'll be able to.
Two questions, Mr. President. Thank you.
Yes.
The first one on the Canadian border. What was the tipping point? Friday, we talked about
They said they were going to shut it, so we had to say we were going to shut it first. Don't be dumb.
it, and
I can't be after Trudeau.
Monday you said, no, we're not considering closing
No, I
the
said not
border.
yet. I spoke with the Prime Minister, Trudeau. Very good relationship, obviously, between us and our two countries. And no tipping point. It's just that we want to isolate from the standpoint we don't want people coming into contact because that's the way we're going to win this war. That is so important. And we both thought it was time. Now, it's not affecting trade.
We both thought it was time. I mean, it's kind of like twins. I mean, one is obviously born before the other, but it's not a big deal, right? Just because you're the first twin doesn't make you more of a twin or less of a twin. Is it the second twin that's more of a twin because they come out after? Because the first baby's just a regular baby until the twin comes out, and then it's twins. So maybe the second person is more of a twin than that situation. So it was really my idea after he said close the border.
It's non-essential. It's non-essential crossings. It won't affect trade at all. And it was just something we thought would be good for both countries. Yes, please.
Second question, Mr. President. How can you be sure that trade
Go ahead,
is not
please.
going to be a vector of the virus? How can you be sure that trade and everything that's being shipped from one side
Well,
to
they're
the
doing
other-
it in a very careful manner. You can,
Don't worry about it. Have you seen truckers from Canada? They're great. They're all wearing protective caps and those vests like Marty McFly wore.
only be vigilant and very professional, but it's not pertaining at this moment to trade between the two countries. Yeah, please.
We are hearing that the trillion.
You can tell he just farted because look at the look on Pence's face. He's doing a long draw on that right now. Just look at that. His whole nose is tightening just as he just like make it last.
$10 economic stimulus package could look something like $50 billion for the airlines,
Don't say all the numbers, dude. People get no.
$150 billion in loan
You left out how much the Sacklers are getting.
guarantees for critical sectors of the economy, a $250 billion payment on April 6th directly to individuals, another $250 billion.
Thank you to the Stephanie Miller fans who are hopping on and saying hi. I adore you guys. I'll be back on there next week. Some by hook or by crook. We'll probably be coming in this way. I'll probably be, videoing in as life will be for the next little bit or whatever. But as a Patreon, if you want to join the Patreon, Steph fans, we could really use you. I appreciate it.
$1 payment on May 18th, again, directly to individuals, and as well,
Our goal is 500. We're at 150 now, I think. We need 500 patrons. So if you're just going to give us that shot, I'd greatly appreciate it. Hi. My girlfriend's coming in to give me a kiss. Hold on, in the middle of this. I need one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I appreciate you bringing in, but you have to give me a kiss in the middle of it. Hi. Yeah. We're all getting through this how we are. We're all learning our own little quirks. And she's learning to deal with me, and she's got the patience of Job. And after this is all over, we all owe her a big apology. I'm going to make Trump apologize to my girlfriend for making us be stuck in a house for a month together. These are the only breaks she gets from me. So I'm not just saving your life, I'm saving hers. What did you bring in? Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah, right. Well, we can't mail anything yet, but we will. 500 patrons and Hal gets a private jet. Yeah, it's more like a private Cessna that's, built in 1976 or whatever. But hey, I can fly it, and that's all that matters. Yeah, I'll pick everybody up and fly you guys like John Cusack at the end of 2012.
$300 billion for small business loan guarantees. Is that, in the general sense, what
It could
you're
be.
looking
It could be, but I don't want to say anything because you're leaving out the part where I shave $1 billion of this off into the Caymans.
It could be, and we're
My family and I will be tried for war crimes after this is over, but good luck getting me back from the Caymans.
also playing with a lot of numbers, a lot of
Can I eat a snack on camera? I don't know. Well, I'm not eating till later. I'm still doing one meal a day, so we'll talk about that after this is over. He's almost done, and we'll talk about how we're all doing our prep and all that kind of stuff.
very
So,
big numbers and a lot of very small numbers.
big numbers, small. What is that? Why does he keep insisting on going? It could go left, it could go right. We've talked about up, we've talked about down, we've talked about in, we've talked about out. But we'll be doing things that we're not doing and not doing things that we're doing. So write that down.
Frankly,
Make sure you get that down. Doing, not doing. You finished? Okay. And doing, not doing. Right. Not necessarily in that order. Backwards and forwards and forwards and
we want
backwards.
to take care. We have to help everybody. It was nobody's fault. This happened.
Well, it was maybe China's fault.
I mean, some people could say it was somebody's fault,
Yeah.
actually, but it was nobody's fault.
You know whose fault it wasn't at the end of all this? And considering the whole idea that he's calling it the Chinese virus, you know whose fault it isn't? Li Wenliang. Li Wenliang is the person who ultimately, by going public with this, if any lives were saved by, the red flag going up early, and a lot of people are going to die because the Chinese government, put the brakes on the message getting out. The fact that Li Wenliang started telling people and started rattling cages early is why we know about this thing. He's Chinese. He's a Chinese doctor, and he's dead. He got the virus because he continued to work. So every time he calls it the Chinese virus because he wants to dig at the Chinese government, recognize that it was Li Wenliang, the Chinese doctor, who sent up the first red flags about this and kept working and died. So it's an insult to his name, not just to the Chinese people in general.
And certainly none of these companies that all of a sudden had no passengers in planes and had no passengers on cruise ships and all of the things that have happened. But I will say that they can't be blamed for this, and we want to keep those companies.
It's not their fault that I closed the Office of Pandemic Response. Who would have noticed Li Wenliang's message and started telling everybody? It's not their fault I had my thumb up my ass this entire time.
Vibrant because there's going to be a comeback very, very quickly as soon as this is solved, and it will be solved. We will win, and there will be a comeback, and it'll take place very quickly.
No, it won't. It will come back quickly in terms of pre-industrialized world. Yeah.
$1 billion. There's give or take 330 million Americans or so. If you just do the math on that, that's about $750 a person. A family of four, that would be about $3,000 on average again.
Don't say how much money it is. Stupid.
Rough math. Which is that where this is?
I love rough math, though. I love that. That's my favorite kind. Just give me the big numbers. Leave it to the guys in the small hats to round it off.
Well, no, I don't want to say that because it's a moving. These are all
his term, not mine.
Every number that you mentioned, yes, we've talked about those numbers. We're also moving those numbers in both directions. So we'll let you know. It's moving along fast.
Doing good. Up, down, up. I'd love to let me keep taking questions because it prolongs how long it takes me to sign that Defense Act that I needed to sign this morning that you just asked me 10 minutes ago if it was crucial or not.
Again, there's a great
I'm moving it back and forward. Like, when you play Pong.
Bipartisan effort going on that I haven't really seen before to this extent.
It's amazing how people are working together when all of their constituents are dying equally. It's amazing that Fox News gives a shit all of a sudden.
On the self-swab that you mentioned at the beginning of this, has the FDA approved that test?
No, they're looking at it. It's down the line, and they're looking at it very seriously. And I think it would be a great thing.
It's on a table. They're looking at it very seriously. They've all got their arms crossed. And they're like going, they look skeptical. You can tell. They're looking at it very seriously. They're considering it. They're looking at sitting on the desk going, I don't know, guys. What do you think?
because the other
Tell them they need to test it, and they're running it through the standardized channels as quickly as they can for the efficacy of it.
is, to use a nice word, it's very
Infotainmentwars.com. That's the name of my YouTube channel.
inconvenient.
And a
It's
second
very
question
tough.
for you, sir. You tweeted this morning about your approval rating amongst Republicans. You have said that you give yourself a 10 in terms of handling this crisis.
Well, yeah, it's not me. Other people gave me a 10. And Mike says that every time I walk to the bathroom in a robe.
How do you reassure Americans at home who don't trust you to handle a crisis?
I think they do trust me. I think that's a nasty question, and I think they do trust me. If you look at the ones that are going to live,
Of this magnitude.
Well, I think we're doing a really good job.
who asked you, dipshit?
We started off with a termination of the border, the people coming in from
Termination of the border. I was like, I went to the border and I said, I'll be back.
China, where this all started. That
The border of China, Chinese border. But, you know,
meant I took
most people don't know. Like, California is right up against Hubei. Did I say that right without hawking a
it
loogie?
very seriously. And when I use the word calm doesn't mean that I'm not taking it seriously. Calm means, and we should be calm. We should be extremely calm.
You didn't use the word calm. There are 15. It's one person, I think. Oh, it's 15 cases. It'll soon be 0. Everyone needs to relax. 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 Have a nice dinner. Eat your food. Relax. It's all going to be over soon. It's no big deal.
But yeah, 95% within the Republican Party and over 50%. And I also have, we have very great approval numbers. I mean, people like the job that we're doing.
They love it. Have you checked our Yelp?
And when you compare this to,
Seriously, my Zagat rating has gone up like 4 points since I got some of the early tests and put them in the Trump Tower right next to the restaurant, and you can only get one if you give us a good check-in.
other epidemics, or if you want to use a different term, you can, but within the
Then epidemics, I use other words. There's pandemic, there's epidemic, there's China-demic.
this country, and you look at what's happened over the years.
Many times people have done things before that things
This is being handled very, very professionally. We have the greatest professional.
very professionally. I know some people want it to be handled like the government handles it, meaning that you have to care equally for all citizens. We're not doing that. We're basically firing a section of the public for not being healthy enough.
In the world. We're doing a
Die quickly.
good job. Nobody's ever been swamped like this. And nothing's been so contagious. The level of contagion has been.
Which is why you would set up an office of pandemic. We're thinking of setting up an office of pandemic response. Something that Obama and Biden never thought of. Certainly anything Biden was part of setting up, and he will bring up during the debates, which we're canceling.
Incredible, actually. Nobody's
I'm pre-taping my debates.
seen anything quite like this. Yeah, Peter, go ahead.
If I could ask you about the tests, sir, for a second. If federal officials have shipped millions of tests, as you and your colleagues have said, why, as the federal government says, have only 59,000 tests been processed to this point? We just heard from the Atlanta Public Health.
No, I don't know if you heard me right. You got about 59,000. I don't know where you got that number, but that's like, I don't know. But yet, you didn't hear that 5 days ago we said millions and millions and millions, and you were supposed to write millions and millions and millions, and anybody who wants a test can get a test. That's what you're supposed to write. I said it. You can't. What do we not? Can we get Kim Jong-un in here to teach these people how to write?
Director saying that they have fewer than 50 test kits for more than 900,000 citizens.
Yeah,
Where are
well,
the tests?
I'll let Mike.
I'll let Mike say that because the failure on the tests I'm going to throw on his back. Mike, go ahead. Throw yourself under the bus for daddy. And maybe if you're good later, I'll let you cradle both of them.
So that's
Oh, Burks, you say it. You're wearing the magic scarf today.
A very critical question, and thank you for asking it. So
that is a very important question. The tests that the whole world has been using, according to the WHO, that have helped people start to flatten the curve in those countries, we decided against in favor of one that could be fashioned by the Sacklers, the people who brought us the opioid epidemic, at a retail price that we can funnel into those companies immediately before it's clear that Trump is going to lose. And has anybody else noticed that Republicans create a crisis right before it's obvious that they're getting kicked out of office, when Bush couldn't come back, and now that Trump is clearly going to lose the election, that stuff not only doesn't go well, but it craters horribly? Oh my God, I just put that together. Excuse me.
the test kits that we put out last week through the approval, the rapid movement of that meeting that
Say rapid. Good. Say rapid.
President
But say millions and millions. Say millions and millions and millions. Shh. Hey. Psst. Librarian lady. Psst. Library lady. Yeah. Yeah. The 4. Hey. Say millions and millions and millions.
Trump called it less than 2 weeks ago. That has resulted in bringing our private sector to the table, because the tests and the
How are these jokes holding up against all the talk shows that they spend millions of dollars on that have to do it from home now, like mine versus theirs? How we doing? Don't have a team of writers doing this live on the spot. How am I holding up? Let me know. Is my information and my joke solid? Let me hear what you have to say. All Russian bot trolls aside.
platform that was out there could only run between 4 and 12 tests per platform per day.
We need more platforms. That's what we need.
Now moved into platforms that can run basically tens of thousands of tests per day. So
Colbert's audio was terrible. This is the problem with having the greatest production available to you at all times and not being a nerd. Thank you, by the way, to Kima Williams, the audio engineer teacher at Columbia in Chicago, who I studied audio engineering with as a private tutor. I salute you, sir, and your Jimi Hendrix cover band.
the reason I'm grateful for your question, because it allows me to
take a bullet for the president.
point out that, of course, then there was backlog. There were individuals who had been tested, who hadn't had their specimen run because of the slow throughput. It's now in a high-speed platform. So we will
And we've run out of, in Vegas, the chemical necessary to run the tests. Oh, thanks for the sticker, Althea.
see the number of people diagnosed dramatically increase over the next 4 to 5 days. I know some of you will use that to raise an alarm that we
Don't do that, okay? If you'll notice, I have less and less makeup on every day. Meanwhile, his hair and his spray tan stays the same. Let's talk about who's treating this seriously, okay?
are worse than Italy.
Oh boy. Oh boy. She whipped out the air quotes. It's calling you out.
Because of our slope of our curve. To every American out there, it will be 5 to 6 days worth of tests being run in 24 to 48
Yeah, we don't even know how many sick people are walking around elbow to elbow, or have been for the last couple of weeks.
hours. So our curves will not be stable until
Thanks.
sometime next week.
Why? I look pasty. This is a natural color. Look what I'm competing against. What is this? First, the blanched redness here. Does he have a fever? What's this? Same thing. She was looking blotchy and sick. And he's just slamming his face in a bowl of Cheetos before he comes out on camera.
The reason
You guys go ahead. Wait out there. I'll be out in 5 minutes. I'm just going to motorboat some Cheetos.
I talked about Thermo Fisher yesterday is because their platform is in 2,000 laboratories. They're the ones that are putting out the million.
That's right. That's right. You throw those numbers at her. Yeah, that's right.
tests this week that will solve the issue that Atlanta and others have brought up. I wanted to be clear.
Angel, if you have a fever that big, you need medical attention, no matter what, regardless of the testing part. And don't take us. And if you're going to take anything to lower your fever, take acetaminophen, not ibuprofen.
We prioritize the areas.
Please see a doctor.
We do county by county analyses. Based on those analyses, on what counties had more than 50 cases, we prioritize the test kits we put out, the 400.
We're triaging test kits just like they're doing with beds for the dead and dying in Italy. But that shouldn't be cause for alarm. That I don't even know how to do regular air quotes, that I'm supposed to separate the fingers to make the air quotes like that. Don't be afraid that even like, it's part of my like kind of uncool science lady thing that I don't know how to do proper air quotes. That should make you feel a lot better.
And that's why we're seeing a 7% plus positivity rate. We'll be able to expand that platform and reprioritize based on the accessibility of the other kits.
Mr. President, perhaps I can follow up. How are non-symptomatic professional athletes getting tests while others are waiting in line and can't get them? Do the well-connected go to the front?
Oh, this is where
of the line.
Well, you'd have to ask them that question. I mean, I've read.
Should that happen? Should it happen that the well-connected are going to the front of the line for tests?
No, I wouldn't say so, but perhaps that's been the story of life. That does happen on occasion. And
the story of life. The rich and powerful and connected get dibs, and the rest of you guys live in squalor and hope to make a vaccine one day off my ball sweat.
I've noticed where some people have been tested fairly quickly. Look, we inherited a very.
Encourage them to defer
Excuse
their
me.
tests to others.
Excuse me. We inherited a very obsolete system. This was a system that was out of date, obsolete, or it was a system that was never meant to take care of the kind of quantity, the number of people that we're talking about, millions and millions of people.
Yeah, that's why, you would want something like a pandemic response team who, when they saw things like this on the horizon as they were tracking them, would also track the materials that we would need in the case of a pandemic. They would have known that we were short of ventilators and would have said, we should probably have at least 200,000 in reserve being built and stockpiled in case of an emergency like this, just like we did with gas masks during World War II. But
if you go back in years past, like even recently with the flu, nobody had tests before. They didn't test the entire nation to see whether or not they had flu. They got the flu, they got better. Hopefully they got better, that was it. Now all of a sudden they do this very complex testing. What we've done is we've broken it down.
the flu has a 0.005% contagion rate. Like, it's less than 1. You don't give the flu to every person you see magically. You don't interact with one other person and they get it, and a second person they get it, and a third person they get it, and a fourth person. It doesn't work that way. Like, a lot of, and we have herd immunity against it. A lot of people have had a version of the flu and their body fights against multiple versions of the flu after the fact. That's why we really only use the vaccine for kids and old people, because you can't take that chance.
We've broken up the system, but it was obsolete, and or you could say it was also a system that just wasn't meant to handle the kind of volume.
And or I like both conjunctions. I was just at Conjunction Junction. His grandfather died from Spanish flu, aka Kansas flu.
About, we've rebuilt it into a system that for the future will be a very good.
You will be, in the future they'll thank me for this screw up. They'll learn from my mistakes, and aren't those the best ways to learn?
If you want to go this.
Do his shoulders look broader? His tailor must live in. Yeah, they're widening his jacket to make him look, because he's putting on weight, so they're widening his jacket shoulders.
But this was never done before, and I would imagine it will be done in the future. But we built it into a.
In the future, they might want to respond better.
Very good system by using private companies, the great private companies. And I have to say, Roche has been doing a very good job. They're doing a lot of work, a very good.
You might want to buy that stock when the stops cratering. I'm just saying.
job. But this was an obsolete system. This was not a system that was meant to do anything like this or even near this. John?
This was not a system that was supposed to handle the weight of a moron at the top of the pyramid of decision. Okay, this system. The entire administration says, like, our branches of government were designed with the idea that the person who was president would actually not have his head up his own ass. So we're going to have to redesign the system, to protect against future outbreaks of head up the ass syndrome in the Oval Office.
A couple of things. A major trade coalition is calling on you to suspend tariffs with other countries as part of the response to the coronavirus.
Who heads that group? Those countries do, probably.
No, it's an
Go
American,
check.
it's an American free trade.
I know, I'm sure of free trade. Look, China's paying us billions and billions of dollars in tariffs.
Don't forget, my trade thing is working great. By the way, you're so rich you don't even know it.
And there's no reason to do that. They haven't even spoken to me about that.
They keep coughing all over the phone, and I keep hanging up.
China hasn't asked me to do that, but we're getting billions of dollars a year from tariffs from China. And I can't imagine Americans asking for that, but it could be that China will ask for a suspension or something. Let's see what happens. China's having a very rough time. They have their worst year in 76 years, as I understand it. They're having a very, very tough time. And then on top of it, this happened with the virus. But no, we're taking in billions of dollars a year in tariffs.
That's money.
And
Money. Anyways, can we do this? Can we talk about that instead of the virus stuff?
this was caused by something totally unrelated to tariffs.
And on asylum,
Most people don't know this. Tariffs, I'm breaking news. Tariffs don't cause China virus.
on asylum seekers,
As a matter of fact, China virus is stopped by tariffs because if products that my daughter doesn't sell were allowed to sell in the country at the rate they were before, we'd have a lot more dead people.
and people who cross
You're welcome, America.
the southern border illegally are
Yeah, they literally look at the lip on his jacket. Somebody is making the decision that he has to look more president. So they're adding like 80s style. Seriously, those are some straight up Pat Benatar shoulders right now.
Are you planning to invoke 42 USC 265, which would allow you to prohibit entry of certain people
The
across
answer is
the border?
yes.
Oh yeah. Are you kidding? Are you straight up, bro? Are you asking me if I'm gonna stop people at the border from other countries from coming in, and they're gonna be mainly south and east of us? Bet your ass, buddy.
When will that happen?
Very soon, probably today. Yes.
Question for you and then a question for Dr. Burke.
Yeah.
On the border, firstly, are there plans to fully shut the Mexican border? And what do you define as essential travel when it comes to the U.S.?
Well, we would definitely. We've been talking about shutting the Mexican border in my family since 1976. But
Canadian border?
Well, I think essential is medical. We have military working together. We have industry working together. And
we want avocados coming in.
again, it's not affecting trade. So things like that. But just leisurely, let's go to a restaurant and have dinner, which a lot of people do. They come both ways. They go in both directions. That kind of thing we have ended on a temporary basis.
We have a lot of Mexican bisexuals who come up and eat at our restaurants and go home.
Yeah,
But is that the word?
please go ahead.
They go both ways. That's all I know. Anyways, I mean, look, it's an exclusive club. You guys probably have never been in it, and you have to wear a mask.
Not close it. No, we're not going to close it. But we are invoking a certain provision that will allow us great.
We're not stopping any trucks with stuff, and we're not stopping any empty trucks going back to get more stuff. We are stopping women and children,
Latitude as to what we do.
especially if they have the sniffles.
May I ask
Please.
two questions if I could?
Yeah,
The
go
Wall
ahead. You know
Street
what? Go
Journal
ahead.
is-
Sure.
The Wall Street Journal.
You know what? Ask her. I don't give a shit.
Doctor?
So just to
Doctor.
clarify something, because just a week ago, you all were standing here telling us that unless
Oh, these are the questions he hates. Last week questions. Look, last week didn't exist, okay? Dummy. Okay? Time moves one direction for a reason. so I can forget about
You
it.
had sustained contact with somebody who was symptomatic for COVID-19, you really didn't need to worry. You told the president, the vice president, that if they shook hands with somebody who had this, if they took a photograph with somebody who had this, they didn't really need to worry.
By the way, have you noticed they've installed the tiny microphones that are really bright so Trump won't touch them? They literally, these little microphones that they had the big microphone before and the one they had outside. They have these two, these little ones. Like, can we please put some microphones he won't touch? I mean, they are about the size of his fingers.
And yet, several days later, we're in a situation where people are being told, don't leave your houses. There are curfews saying you cannot walk.
I love the camera zoom in on this. Like, they're like, okay, lady, give it your best shot. Explain yourself. Have you ever, is there a reason why you told people that?
Alone at night after a certain time. Can you walk us through what seemed like a very dramatic swing, a very dramatic disconnect from what we were hearing before to what we're hearing now?
So two things. We look at data all the time, and I know
I am a big data person. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love anything Brent Spiner has done. But
you're looking at the China and South Korea data. And when
you're looking at the areas where they've been successful and where they haven't been successful and comparing the two and coming away with an idea of what would be successful. And I am looking at the place at the president's face every day, and he's telling me what to do.
When you look at China and South Korea data and you look what China and South Korea did, you can see that their curves are not only blunted outside of Wuhan, so the Chinese areas outside of Wuhan, blunted curve, and South Korea, blunted curve. If you look at their curve today, they're already on the far end of their epidemic curve. Of course, none of those countries are fully back to work, and so that's what we worry about too. Secondly, there was a series of scientific articles published, and I know you've seen them too, about surface contamination. I think none of us really understood the level of surface piece. So we're still working out how much is it by
how disgusting is the world?
By human transmission, and how much is it by surface?
Oh, human, don't say that. That's how I got the Sith.
And this is why those fundamental
They used to call me the Sith Lord in college.
guidelines were put out that says don't expose yourself to surfaces outside the home. Basically what those guidelines are
They also called me Barf Mall. I don't know what that meant.
is don't expose yourself to excess number of persons who could be asymptomatic and infected, and then the person-to-person contact. And don't expose yourself to surfaces that could have had the virus on it, for which on hard surfaces, I know we had the cardboard issue about shipping, hard surfaces, not shown in fabric as much or in cardboard, but hard surface transmission. These are issues that we haven't had.
That's good, because my body hasn't had a hard surface without chemical intervention since like 85.
To deal with before with the level of respiratory infections. And that's why we have this concern, and that's why the president put out the guidelines. And so it's to cover both of those.
He didn't put out the guidelines. You guys gathered the guidelines other people had put out, and like he's taking credit again.
Pieces. That's all new science, all new models. I think many of you have the Imperial.
Didn't you get asked about tests? Didn't this start why we don't have enough tests?
Study.
And now we're talking about clean your sink and don't spit in each other's mouths.
Available, and looked at the impact.
What you're going to want to do is, if you're going to a key party, you might want to start shifting your fetishes away from choking, mouth spitting, and foot jobs to vinyl. I know that my favorite zipper outfit, okay, that's enough.
To those, that's the first time those have been modeled as a comprehensive approach to mitigating an epidemic.
And Dr. Burks, yesterday.
Don't ask her another question. Fauci was over on the other side, I thought. I didn't when they were walking out. He might be working. I'm happy not to see Fauci there.
Looked at an executive order that would expand the use of investigational drugs against the virus, but that FDA scientists.
Yes, we're looking into something that the mega churches, where they can, there's this dude who will send you he blesses his tears and you pour it in your navel while singing the battle hymn of the Republic. We're looking into that very closely. He's a big donor.
Are warning that this could put patients at risk.
I haven't
Is this
seen
something
the
you're
article.
looking at?
No, I haven't seen the article.
I haven't seen any of that. I don't read.
We are making a lot of progress therapeutically, I will say that, but I have not seen that article, no. Go ahead.
Mr. President, we've
Honest to God, there is no point to this. Honestly, they're just filling TV. They're hoping that in hours of this nonsense of him coming through and pointing at people and going, "We're very big, so good, number one, all hands on deck," they'll be able to cut a campaign ad and pretend like there aren't dozens of campaign ads being cut against him with this garbage.
Shut down non-essential travel to Canada. Are you considering shutting down all travel to blunt the spread of the virus? And
Well, all non-essential travel, which is, like Russian mail order brides, those are fine.
we've heard from industries like the airlines who are seeking relief. What other industries or how exactly is your
Don't forget to purse your bottom lip. It pulls your jowl up and makes you look more like Winston Churchill taking a nap. We will fight them in the nap.
administration going to determine which industries and businesses get
Well, there are
help?
certain industries that people know. I mean, the airlines would be
Some are big and some are small, and we've been looking at very big numbers and small numbers of the parts that stop and the stops that
number
start.
one if you look at what's going on. They go from
You look at what's going on and what's been going on. We're looking at what's going on, but we're looking at that very seriously. And
having the best year they've ever had to having
they were doing great, and then this came out of nowhere. Nobody expected it.
no passengers because of what we've had to do in order to win this war. It's a war.
It's war. I'm a wartime president. I should be dressed like a general. That's why my shoulder pads are bigger.
And
Next time you see me, I'll be dressed like Gaddafi.
so,
In the beginning, not in the end. That would suck.
basically, what many of the industries are. What we want to do is we want to make sure they all stay together so that after the war is won, we can immediately go right back up to where we were and even beyond. I think we're going to go
We're gonna
beyond
be so
where we
good.
were. And a lot of
This
people
is
are
gonna be
saying
way
that, by
better.
the way.
We're gonna clear out all the suckers.
But we have to win the war first. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Sort of, you know what? You need to picture this. This is like Trading Places meets Saw.
Follow up on that. Treasury proposed $150 billion today for those industries, but their proposal doesn't detail which industries would get that money and how much. So aside from the airlines, which you just mentioned, what about the cruise industry, the hotels? How much of that money do you see them each
We're
getting?
talking about all of it.
Somebody text Johnny Katz in Vegas and let him know I'm streaming so I can say hi. Thank you, Patricia.
Haven't detailed it yet. We have detailed it to senators and to members of the House. We have been talking about it, and we're coming up with numbers. Haven't gotten there yet.
We're talking about big numbers and small numbers and fat numbers and skinny numbers and numbers with freckles and numbers with.
But
No, I'm not. I don't. Liberty. I did not smoke a doobie. This is called wit, and it's spontaneous. I'm completely together. I am just reacting sanely to an insane circumstance.
certainly, hotel industry, the cruise ship industry, the airlines, those are all
The three I give a shit about,
prime candidates.
because a lot of them leave out of Florida, and a lot of those people go back and forth to Mar-a-Lago and my other properties. So I keep saying cruise ships because my family has stock in all the cruise companies.
On the northern border, sir, when you say
Which
temporary,
border?
the northern border.
Any border, the border with China, also known as the Atlantic Ocean, which is now America owns that. I don't know. We're putting a wall in the middle of the Atlantic.
When you say temporary, which is what you said in your tweet, does that mean 30 days?
I would say 30 days, and hopefully at the end of 30 days, we'll be in
We'll have another 30 days, and after that, another 30 days. Depends how much money we're making.
great shape. Jeff, please.
Mr. President, I was struck by what Dr. Burke said about millennials and others perhaps not taking some of these warnings as seriously as you'd like. Some of those people also seem to be your supporters and conservatives who may be quoting some of what you said at the beginning of this, comparing it to the flu.
Thanks, Kokomo.
What is your message to them?
What's your message to your supporters who are showing up in bars by the crap ton in Tennessee and laughing it off wearing MAGA hats?
To
admit it, hell, this is all scripted out. Yeah, you're on to me, Richard. I spent all morning writing this out. I got a team of writers. They're down below my desk feeding me lines right now. Like, that's every time I look down, that's what I'm looking at. Thank you, Kokomo. Hold on, I need to push play on this.
really follow what you've been saying so far, and are you concerned that they're
Mm,
still
I don't think it's my people. I think it's mostly the other side's people of other people that are people.
listening maybe to some of your
This is my I don't think so face.
earlier comments
I don't think so face.
rather than your more recent ones?
Well, I think my earlier comments are to be calm. I mean, I do.
I told people to be calm as I was telling them that it would go from 15 to 1 and 0, and that there was only one sick person, and it's all a bunch of nothing, and the economy's doing great, and to go back to sleep.
Want people to be calm because we're going to win this and we're going to win it. It's just a question of time. And I
It's a question of time and dead people.
wanted to go quickly. So based
I want grandma to go quickly.
on the fact that I wanted to go quickly, I hope they just listen to what we've been saying over the last period of time.
The period of time, over the last period of time, because people, that's how people talk. How you guys been doing the last period of time? Huh? How you been doing since yesterday's stream, you know, in that period of time, since that last period of time, over the last little period of time? And what do you expect to be doing over the next little period of time?
We don't want them gathering, and I see they do gather, including
I don't like gathering. They're talking about, we're hoping they gather in smaller numbers. We've said 250, some say 10, what if
on
50?
beaches and including in restaurants, young people. They don't realize that they're feeling invincible. I don't know if you felt invincible when you were very young, but they were feeling totally.
I certainly did in those height of the AIDS crisis, no condom days. I felt pretty invincible. And now I've got legions on my brain from syphilis, which actually make me, I think some people have said, Mike has said, smarter.
Invincible or are feeling that way, but they don't realize that they can be carrying lots of bad things home to grandmother and grandfather and even their parents. So we want them to heed the
Barron keeps coughing on me.
advice. We mean the advice, and I think it's getting through. I do believe it's getting through, Jim.
I do believe it's getting through. I mean, there's no signs that it's getting through, but I believe it's getting through.
If they're watching, what do you say to them if they're watching? Sorry.
If they're what?
I think there are a lot of them watching, a lot of these people at home, these young people.
Well, I think I just said it.
I was gonna say, what do you
Heed
say
the
to them?
advice. Heed the advice. I just said, yeah. Thank you.
I just said it kind of. I also said I think they're listening, and I think they already care, and they do care, and they don't care, and they don't care, and they do care.
Thank you, Peter.
You know, I'm doing better than you think I'm doing.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, how long do you think it's
Look at that.
We'll get you next, okay?
This is so fun. People are very excited about these. We get a lot of good reviews of our coronavirus updates, gang. Can we stop the meeting and have another press thing?
Say it.
I get to look like a boss.
Thank you, Mr. President. In talking about China, you've been very clear about who you think
China.
is to blame or where the origin to blame for this virus is.
Not
Senator-
think. No. I don't think. I know where it came from. I don't know if you'd say China's to blame. Certainly we.
Babe, if you're out there, can I get a Q-tip? I'm going to self-swab.
We didn't get an early run on it. It would have been helpful if we knew about it earlier. But it comes from China. And
China.
It's not a question about that.
China
Nobody's questioning
thingy.
that.
Senator Cotton is saying that they
China.
should be punished, in so many words, for inflicting this.
I think maybe they should or whatever. We should charge them I'll raise the tariffs. But think of it as a disease tax.
On the American people. Do you feel that way about it?
Well, I have a lot of.
Well, they did have the disease over there, and they did warn us, and they did take the virus and put it online so people could get a look at it because they realized how after they were late, they got caught flat-footed, that they realized it was dangerous. So they posted the disease online so people could start working on a cure all over the world. And then they shut the Hubei province. And then a couple days later, we didn't allow anybody who wasn't allowed to leave to come in here. Oh, I'm going blank.
Respect for Tom Cotton, and I know exactly.
Well, there. Okay, call it off.
What he's been saying, and there are those people that say that. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not getting my mouth hole small enough. It's hard between him and Pence.
Thank you. Go ahead. It's your turn. Go ahead. Please.
You be quiet. I have to ask OAN. And look, I've got the softball dude right there. Give me a layup, pal.
He's been waiting a long time. Please.
Yeah, it's that. If he says that, it's OAN. They've been waiting a long time.
You've had your hand up so nicely for a long time. It's your time.
Thank you, sir. We've seen the Chinese government kick out reporters from the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the Washington Post. What is your message to the Chinese when it comes to transparency at a moment where you still have...
I don't like it. What is that? What is that facial response? And look at Pence. OAN. You were supposed to ask him the question about how wonderful it feels to be so good at gaslighting the American people, and you didn't. We talked about your questions before. You're reading off the wrong side of the card. Did you set your cards on the chair, and then somebody from the Washington Post swapped their cards for your cards? You jerk.
Have reporters asking you questions here at the White House.
Yeah, I'm not happy to see it.
Who's this?
You know, I have
It's
my own
Donald Trump. He's the
disputes
president.
with
Dale.
all three of those media groups. I think you know that very well. But I don't like seeing that at all. I'm not happy about that at all. Yes, please.
You didn't correct the language, so I wonder if you agree with it. Do you believe that China is inflicting this upon our country?
No, I don't believe they're inflicting. I think they could have given us a lot earlier notice. Absolutely. Please.
I mean, when they put the virus online and asked for the world's help in sequencing?
Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. President, your credibility ratings are very low. There was a recent NPR poll.
I don't think so. No.
You're asking that question.
I'm asking...
Because I see that they're very high. You know, if you look, I'm 95% of the Republican.
95% of the Republican Party thinks I'm the greatest thing that's ever happened and stuff. They can't wait to get rid of Grandma.
Party. We just had a poll that was done by a very reputable group where I'm beating Sleepy Joe Biden by a lot.
Sleepy Joe. You imitated his speech.
In Florida.
You started doing these things because he got ahead of you by forming a team. He formed a team, then you... Oh, my God.
In the state of Florida and in other states.
We're doing great in states where we're not doing great.
You know, so I don't really know who you're talking about. All right, Jennifer, go ahead.
I don't know who you're talking about. I saw this poll. It was written in Sharpie. It's so legit.
Please.
Two questions, if you're willing, sir. Would you give us an update on your conversation with the airline executives?
Yeah.
Did you explain to them what's coming? What was their reaction?
I did, and they explained to me where they're coming from. I mean, they went from, as I said, full play.
You know, yeah, Sleepy Joe. Sleepy Joe does not read with the same passion that I don't even really think that when I'm reading, the amount of passion I carry, the caring of the American people, with signing the Defense Authorization Act, but after, which is crucial and important, but which I'll do after this, because I got time.
Planes packed, the best year they've ever had by far.
You're doing so good, and then this happened, and it's almost like the government wasn't prepared because I gutted key parts of the administration and then put idiots in charge of everything. Like heck, I basically heck of a job brownied every department.
To boom, one day,
boom, nobody saw it coming. It was a 3-month boom that started in December that if I had a team, they would have noticed, but...
Because of what we have to do to win this war,
And it really is a war. It's a war. I'm a wartime president. You don't want to switch horses midstream. Remember that. That's where we're going with. Mike called me. That's why my shoulder pads.
Would have...
So good. I need epaulets. Is Michael Jackson's outfit still available?
A level of death like people haven't seen before. So they've been fantastic. I mean, they've been great. But, you know, they went from being extremely happy to being people that are running companies that are going to need some help. And we'll help them, Jennifer.
Oh, we know you'll help them. There was never any question that you were going to help them.
SBA loans, would you be willing to give us an update on how that's going? We've been getting some reports that counties have been having difficulty getting.
Well, it's going. I mean, there's a lot of.
There's a lot. This is super good. The places where it's not working are where it's working the best.
influx to those loans, as you can imagine. A lot of people are looking at it, but we're going to be increasing funding a lot. They're very well prepared to do what they have to do, and the SBA is doing a fantastic job.
You're doing so good.
She is doing a really good job, the administrator. John?
Mr. President, a couple of questions for Dr. Burks,
Yeah.
if I could.
Please.
Dr. Burks, French researchers have had some luck
As the
with,
mother of two beautiful
hydroxychloroquine.
daughters who
Like, how many veterans of those that need to be tested have been tested?
Those that have needed to be tested, we believe we've caught most of them. Right now, we have 44 veterans who have tested positive. Sadly, one has passed in Portland.
That's the first Trump is hearing of it. They had a meeting right before this. Look at his face. Look at Trump's face. This is the first he's heard that a vet has died. And like I said, this guy, the head of the VA, there's no reason to be a particular fan of him or have any faith in the people that Trump has put in office because he's so slapdash with it. But in this case, whether this guy was prepared before or not, he is now, and he definitely cares.
We are working with state labs and private companies to make sure that testing is available. Because the president had us out aggressively early, we have
They're all on directives to say that on everything.
been in a better place than most healthcare systems in the country. I cannot predict, as Dr. Burke said, when the next surge will be, if it will be, but
I don't think there's going to be a surge, really. It could happen. I mean, there's lots of surges and not surges. There could be a surge the other way. So we're looking at everything.
one of the things that we do at VA is that we prepare for national emergency.
Kung flu, referring to the fact that this.
Oh, this is the kung
Strict
flu
in
question.
keeping loved ones away from their family and nursing homes. If we're going to solve this with a lower death rate, we have to protect the elderly because of their percent is much higher in
Mhm.
mortality than any other age group.
Mhm. However, young people, weeks ago, there's tons of videos online of people who are 20s and 30s who have this coming. Hey, vapors, guess what?
Okay. Go ahead, please.
Mr.
Go ahead.
President, there's federal, there's
Go ahead, you. Finally, I'm almost done. You had to wait the longest because I know it's going to be a nasty question.
supporting that the federal government has a plan that shows that this coronavirus outbreak might last as long as 18 months. Are you seeing those numbers? Could it
No,
just
we're not
actually
seeing
last?
that.
No, we're not seeing that at all. The report isn't 18 months. 18 months is the marker for when they could possibly have a vaccine at the earliest.
And then my second question is, there are at least one White House official who used the term Kung flu, referring to the fact that this virus started in China. Is that acceptable? Is it wrong? Are you worried that having this virus be
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I'm not going to say that like nicknames and insults are my forte, and I'm not saying that I'm going to take credit for it. But it's pretty good. It's pretty solid or whatever. And if you go to Trump Pence 2020 right now, you can get a bumper sticker that says that. I'm just saying.
talked about as
Beat the Kung flu, Trump Pence 2020. That's what we're going with.
a Chinese virus that might
I
help?
wonder who said
might
that.
focus-
You
I wonder who said that. Probably a Democrat.
know who said that?
I'm not sure the person's name, but would you condemn
Use-
the fact
say
that
the term.
Say it again. I want you to hear. I want you to say it so we can have you on tape saying it. Because and then when people get mad at me, I could say everyone was saying it. Lots of people people you respect have said it out loud many, many times.
Again.
a person at the White House used the term
just a term.
Kung flu?
Just say it. Say it. Say it.
My question is,
What is that? What is that? Say the term. Go ahead. You know you want to say it. Everybody's
do you
funny.
think that's wrong? Kung flu. And do you think using the term Chinese virus that puts Asian Americans at risk? That people might target?
No, I don't think I do that. I don't think it comes from China, so I'm going to call it China virus. And I don't think, obviously, that there will be any other ramifications, even though there's lots of reports of ramifications.
Not at all. No,
And I only care about people from this country, and I don't think those people came from this country. I think they came from other
not
countries.
at all. I think
Look, anybody who gets beat up during this time is clearly overstaying a visa.
they probably would agree with it 100%. It comes from China. There's nothing not to agree. Okay, how about last question? Please go ahead.
Switching gears very quickly to
Say it.
Switching gears to a larger
OAN again.
question here. We've seen that before the pandemic, there were a lot of Americans that were already alienated. We saw deaths of despair increasing through suicide and other things.
Shut up, dude. You did it again. Pence is pissed. Look at him. Well, you're supposed to ask the wonder questions. OAN is really, who is this guy? Our other reporter is at home coughing into a bloody rag. Oh, figures.
Now, as these individuals, a lot of times in rural parts of the country, are self-isolating, what is your message to those individuals, and what do you hope that individuals, communities, and churches will do to reach out to them?
My message is to all Americans, but to those Americans who are going through a lot, we love them, we're with them, and we will not let them down. Thank you all very much.
We love them, we're with them, and we will not let them down. Now I'm going to hide. But first, before you leave, just take a moment. Just take a moment. Just breathe in that if a man can form a hairdo on this complicated, obviously he can handle. Thank you, Justin Network. Obviously, he can handle coronavirus. Obviously, if you've got hair like this, look at that. Where is this part coming from? What is that? That goes from here around and goes this way and down, and then this part goes this way, and there's nothing there. There's nothing there. And it's one thing to, I mean, the idea is that I guess he's out of donor hair and he couldn't get it fixed. Or he would never shave his head, or they can't cut the strip out. I don't know why. But that's kind of amazing. Yeah, that's lovely. Bye. Bye. Oh, and okay.
Mr. Vice President,
Stupid. And here's the thing. Okay, here we are. Middle of a pandemic. Bunch of people just came through the door. Can't not touch the doorknob. Like, if this isn't a case, folks, for automatic doors nearly everywhere, I mean, this is... Ain't no shame in going bald. Ain't no shame in getting it fixed. That's not the part. It's the weird sloping fender haircut. Because I got news for you. Trump has the exact same hair as Biden. The hair on his head, the actual hair on his head, is exactly the same as Biden's. The difference is Biden doesn't grow this part here into a swirly piece and then comb it back over in a sloping chunk, like that if it actually went loose, it would be like this long. Mr. President, more gibberish. Mr. President, Mr. President, is there any possible way you could, bye. Okay, piece of good news real quick. I want to do this. So Tom Hanks, let me see where this is. Yeah, so Tom Hanks has been in quarantine, and they're at a hospital. See this? They were? Are they out now? Oh, nice. Well, he posted this. So Tom Hanks and his wife, Rita, are out of quarantine, they're self-quarantining in another place. But he posted this picture on his Instagram of his Corona because he likes his old typewriters. If you don't know, Tom Hanks has an app for iOS that simulates old typewriters. If you'd like, and you can write texts with it. You can write scripts or letters, and it literally makes the clacking noise. It's lovely. And anyways, he sent this out, and here's his message. Hey folks, good news. 1 week after testing positive in self-isolation, the symptoms are much the same. No fever, but the blahs. Folding the laundry and doing the dishes leads to a nap on the couch. Bad news, my wife, Rita Wilson, has won 6 straight hands of gin rummy and leads by 201 points. But I have learned not to spread my Vegemite so thick. I traveled here with a typewriter, one I used to love. We are in this all together. Flatten the curve, Hanks. So that's good news that he's, weathering this well. So now I get to talk to you guys. I want to, let's all, since we're all in this together, um, um, just getting your attention there or whatever. Shaving his head would reveal the lobotomy scar. Hold on. So, well, technically speaking, if I'm not mistaken, lobotomy scars are right here, aren't they? Didn't they used to just chisel you right in the forehead? In theory. Yeah, his hair is actually 3 feet long, right? It's a devil's triangle on his head, right? Thank you, Liberty B. I try. We're all in this, we're hanging out. We're trying to do our best. I'm going to be streaming later because I'm going to be exercising. And I thought if you guys want to follow along, we can all do some of that. If you feel like that, it might be ridiculous, but it might just be something to watch. I'll wear something revealing, and it'll be a good time or whatever. But only if you super chat. That's gonna be secret or whatever. Yeah. So let's see what you folks have said during the course of this. Oh my God, I'm laughing so hard I burnt myself. Oh, I don't know what you're doing to make that happen. Please don't juggle torches or grill while watching me do comedy. Wonder why he doesn't just shave his head, because he'd look like a skinhead, and that would be saying the quiet part loud, I think. His hair looks like cotton candy made from urine. I can't disagree. You think he slicks back the sides from the saliva of newborn infants? We should be so lucky if it's the saliva. Thank you, KP Nova Finder. I'm going to be doing some of this stuff as we go along over the next couple weeks because they insist on doing these things. My goal is to shame them out of these stupid gatherings because I think they're counterproductive. Here's the thing. The president should make an address every day if he feels like it. That's fine. If he wants to do it from the Oval Office, that's fine. If he wants to take questions and he wants to come out by himself, that's fine. The rest of the team, and he could come out with the group and go, here's what we're working on. Here's the 5 stages today. We're all moving forward. We're going to have individuals from the team come out when they get a break and speak to the press in half-hour increments where they'll give you a message and then they'll take questions for 20 minutes and then go back to work. That's how you do it. This nonsense rigmarole where they're just hanging out once a day like it's a television show. I mean, he thinks this is The View. Take a little time to stop and enjoy the view. Oh, no. See, you don't understand. Sierra, I can touch my face all I want. I'm self-quarantined. I just took a shower. My family's all together here. So I can touch my face all I want. Look at that. Oh, God. Oh, doesn't that feel good? Look at that. Look at that. I'm just, I can touch my face. It's just wonderful. It's just, you can touch your face. That's a good thing about staying home. You stay home. Self-quarantine. The one thing is, you can touch your face. I'm just, oh God, it's so good. This is like, there's a whole wing of Pornhub right now that's just, oh my God. Hi, Hal, you were hot in old show. Thanks. This way he can get ratings for a specific time period. That's true, Jim. I that's a good point. Well, I think even without my commentary, this is what you come away with ultimately. Half of Vegas is being self-quarantined after the hotel shutdown. Yep. I need a little tinted chapstick. Me? Oh, for the lip touching? Maybe. Believe me, we're going to be in this so long, I'm going to be doing makeup tutorials like a 15-year-old YouTuber by the time this is done. I finally got a laugh out of supper outside the door. That's what did it. Out of all the stuff I've been saying, that was the laugh I got. Okay, good. Maybe. I don't know. I've been watching you for years, and I think I've got it figured out. You're a pro. You're probably better than I am. Well, no, you've got home makeup and life makeup, and then you had show makeup, and there's like, tiers of that. I mean, I think more than any.
I'm only really good at show makeup. I have no idea.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I think I should I do a whole one of these in drag? I'm just saying. What do you think? We'll take a vote on it. I'll do a poll on Twitter to see if you guys think I should do this. They're saying you're old in hot show, or am I hot?
You're doing it all. Like you're wearing one of my outfits.
Oh yeah, no question. I'll do it. Yeah, I'm not gonna skimp.
We can even take a vote on what you're wearing.
That's right. Yeah, and then we'll sell the outfit on that weird app you use to sell old clothes that you're not wearing anymore. Don't forget the smoky eye. Yeah, I'll do a heroin chic one as well. Oh, I should. Yeah, I think a Tootsie look would be worthwhile. You know what I mean? It would be calming to have everybody in.
I was just gonna say Vegas showgirl, but
I know, but the headset. I'd have to move back too far on camera for the headset or for the headdress.
we could do a wig with
Yeah, yeah. They're saying.
I have a really nice hot pink outfit down there.
How many wigs do we have though? Do we?
I have a lot of wigs.
Do we have a lot of wigs? Okay, yeah. Okay, good. So we're good on wigs. So we'll be fine.
Shoes might be an issue. I don't have your size.
Right. We have to figure out what my drag name is. We'll take that'll be up for grabs too. Yeah. Davina Novotny, right? Okay. Dorothy, yeah, go full Dorothy Michaels. That's right. Dr. Brewster. And then I'll have to do the reveal, No, I'm not. Dorothy Michaels, son of Dwayne and Alma Michaels. No, I'm not. I'm Edward Kimberly. Right. That's right. Now's a good time to order Streamlabs shirts and all that kind of stuff. And those are the real. I love the stuff there, by the way. So thanks for reminding us, Can't Stop Lying. Send us a picture of yourself, and once we can start mailing things, that's the only way I can send stuff out now, so we can do it that way. I may. Patreon allows you to do certain kinds of merch where they send it out, they fulfill it from where they are, and that might lay down keep the quarantine rules in place. So I will, I may set that up on Patreon if you guys would be up for that. But we'll see. I might just do it just to do it for the short term. I will do a Call of Duty stream later after we're going to do dinner and a movie. It'll be late tonight, I think. Maybe I'll do it before I eat. Maybe I'll do it at 5 o'clock. Yeah, I'll take a break in a couple minutes, and then I'll come back and do a gamer stream. And that'll only be on Twitch and YouTube, though. That won't be on the other sources, because I got to, you can't just have everything. Corona Verona. Hal Corona Verona. It should be coronavirus-y names. Yeah. What fast food do you order now? I don't eat fast food. There's an epidemic going on. I'm not eating crap. I did, babe, would you like to come in here and tell everybody what you had for breakfast and who made it?
My gluten-free pancakes.
I'm sorry, they didn't hear you. You have to.
My gluten-free pancakes.
What kind of pancakes did you have this morning? Chocolate chip gluten-free pancakes and scrambled eggs with cheese and who made that for you? Oh, and could you taste the love? Okay, thank you. Be quiet, Ethan. They were good. Honest to God, did they not? I mean, they were good, but did they not look super professional? I mean, my pancake game at this point is on. Like, yeah, you could put those on a car and they would roll symmetrically. Yeah, damn straight. I'm cooking for everybody. Meanwhile, I'm eating sardine sandwiches because I believe in eating the least enjoyable provisions first. Isn't that Sunday breakfast? You are too. It's all Sunday now. It is all Sunday now. We all live Sunday to Sunday right now. That's right. Chef House specialty. I hope you made enough for everyone. Yeah, well, I did. You just can't come get them. That's the tough part. I got piles and piles. Did I use agave or maple? They used. We have a ginger syrup for that. Hmm. Oh, I'm a coffee. I'm gonna bring you coffee in bed type. Yep. Time to break out the trusty Bassomatic. That's a good idea. You could make a sardine sandwich with pancakes. That's terrible. That's a terrible idea. That wouldn't work. It's too soft. It has to hold together. You have to toast the bread. Haha, those sardines will be the last to eat. Well, that's the thing is that nobody else in the family is going to want to eat them. I love them, but I'm being very Martian about this. I'm counting my caloric needs for the next few days and functionally bring that. Yeah. So Dr. Fung sent an email today that was not confident that IF would even help with COVID-19. Well, I don't know that it's going to be a cure. Not to expect it to. I'm doing it for all the other health reasons it helps me. Well, I appreciate that, Kay Parrish. I'm glad. And that's the entire point. So you will be able to continue joining me every day if you got the time. I'm going to be hopping on relatively randomly. Yeah. Randomly, yes. And Hal's fertilizing potatoes with his own poop and the poop of all the people who left, because that's how the Martian works. Yeah. You're skinny. Am I skinny? I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good. Hold on. Wait, let's get a look. Am I skinny? Hold on. Do I look skinny? Am I looking skinny? What's happening? Am I losing weight? What's happening? By the way, representing Danko Jones, Lipstick City. There you go. What about bleach? I am not drinking bleach, for the record. Bleach does not help, and I am not encouraging QAnon idiots to drink bleach. I don't doubt I will lose some mass during this time as I do this, but I'm a teacher's aide, and I'm having to be very quiet about being in one room with the entire school staff. It's a lot of you will stay busy or not get paid. That's so easy when there are no students. I missed the tail end of that. I don't quite know what you mean, but good on you for working on that. I think Christian teachers everywhere are probably working on a system whereby they can teleteach the kids starting next week. A lot, like kind of extended as a spring break over like 1 or 2 weeks, and then come up with a way that the kids can tune into the school's YouTube channel, for example, and the teacher can teach via that. Would be a great way to do it. If they don't, I will. I'm going to start reading kids stories at night at this rate. That's a great idea. How about that? How about I read like some of my favorite like Camden's favorite books that I have. They're all on my iPad, so I can just read them, and I'll separate them out into videos and just put them on my channel, and people can watch. I'm exhausted from all this stuff. This is crazy. Here, we'll put on Hal reading Dr. Seuss, and you can watch that. I think that would be great. Are you in Kentucky? No, I'm in Vegas right now. By the way, here, I'll share the room right here. Here, I'll finish with this, and then we'll come back a little bit later with more, more fun messing around. But my on-air light from WCPT. This is, you can barely see it, but it's the gun I used in the big crossover episode from Lab Rats, where I'm jumping sideways and shooting, which was one of my goals in life to do that. This is the vest I wore in Lab Rats, where we put the symbol on a this is my motorcycle vest that I brought, and then we put the symbol on the front of it to make it my battle gear for Lab Rats. So I still have that, and I got a bunch of nifty stuff. This is my Thor. Look, see, you thought I wasn't worthy, but I am. This is a toolkit. I'll show you that stuff later. We'll have all kinds of like little inside stuff. And what else is good? This is, I'll see if I can undo the virus with this. Maybe that'll help. And to anybody, by the way, who thinks that I am being too flippant about this or dismissive of the president in some way, and you think that I shouldn't be doing these streams and that I should be, quietly following the words of the president as he tries to save us all from this, virus, and he's doing the best anyone could ever expect from anyone in this circumstance, and no one could do it. Nobody does it better. If you think that, go pound sand. You get me? So, bye for now. And I'll see you guys later. Metal forever. And notice it didn't hurt me. I don't know. The Hulk got injured by it, but I turned out just fine. And I'll show you guys some other memorabilia and lab ratsy kind of stuff later on, and we'll all have a big party. And like I said, every day I'll be here, by hook or by crook. Symptoms or no, whatever happens, I'm going to soldier through this and try to cheer you guys up as best I can and keep our heads above water. Do us all a favor, take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. I'll be on streaming in about an hour. I'll play about an hour worth of Call of Duty on my Twitch channel and on YouTube, just for the people who've been asking. And then I'll just check in, as much as I can. All right, take care, guys. Go drink some water. Okay, bye.